You've lived with your dog for years. You know their face. You know when they're happy, that open mouth, those soft eyes. You know when they're guilty, the flattened ears, the averted gaze. You know when they want something. You know when they're tired. You've learned to read them the way you read the people you love most. You're sure of it, but a team of scientists ran a study and found something that stopped the research community cold. Most dog owners, even experienced ones, even people who had lived with dogs their entire lives, were consistently, measurably wrong about what specific facial expressions in their dogs actually meant. Not about everything, but about some of the expressions that matter most. Which raises a question that's harder to sit with than it sounds. What has your dog been trying to tell you that you've been misreading for years? Scientists just proved you're probably misreading your dog's face. Most of us who have loved a dog for any length of time develop what feels like a fluent second language. We know the happy pant from the anxious pant. We know the guilty look. We know the pleading eyes at dinner. We know when they're relaxed and when something's wrong. And in many cases, we're right. The bond between a dog and their person is real. The communication within it is real. But here's what science has found when it put that confidence to the test. There are specific facial signals ones most owners see every day, where what we think we're reading and what the dog is actually expressing are two completely different things. And some of those misreadings have been happening in your house. Probably today. Here's what makes this more than just an interesting research finding. Dogs evolved alongside humans for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years. During that time, something happened that didn't happen with any other animal. They developed facial muscles specifically for communicating with us. Muscles that wolves, their closest relatives, don't have. They built a face designed to talk to us. Which means when we misread that face, we're not missing something casual. We're missing something they developed over tens of thousands of years, specifically so we would understand. So what are we getting wrong? And what have they been trying to say? Let's start with the one you've seen 1,000 times. Your dog did something they weren't supposed to. You walk in. Before you've said a word, you see it. The lowered head, the flattened ears, the eyes looking up and away, the guilty look. Except it isn't guilt. In 2009, researcher Alexandra Horowitz ran an experiment that quietly dismantled one of the most universal assumptions in pet ownership. She had owners leave the room after telling their dog not to eat a treat. Some dogs ate it, some didn't. Then she manipulated what the owners were told when they came back, sometimes lying to them, telling them their dog misbehaved when they hadn't, or that they behaved when they had. What she found was this. The guilty look appeared based on the owner's behavior, not the dog's. Dogs who had done nothing wrong showed the guilty look when owners acted accusatory. Dogs who had actually eaten the treat showed less of it when owners returned warmly. Your dog wasn't confessing. They were reading you. The moment you walked in, they scanned your face, your posture, your energy, and responded to what they found there. Which means that look you've always interpreted as remorse is actually something else entirely. It's your dog watching you more carefully than you ever knew. Now consider the expression you love most. That inner brow raise. The eyes that go soft and wide. The look that makes you feel seen and melted and somehow chosen. Scientists call the muscle responsible for it the levator anguli oculi medialis. Wolves don't have it. It exists in domestic dogs and not in their wild ancestors, which means it didn't evolve to help dogs survive in the wild. It evolved for something else entirely. Julianne Kaminsky and her team published findings in 2019 showing that dogs use this muscle significantly more when humans are watching them. It's not involuntary. It's not random. It's directed. They built that expression. Across thousands of years of living beside us, they developed a muscle one their ancestors never had that produces exactly the look most likely to move a human heart. And there's one more. The smile. The open mouth. The relaxed-looking face you read as pure happiness. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. Canine behavioral research has documented something called a stress grin, an open-mouthed expression that looks nearly identical to the relaxed, happy face but signals appeasement or overstimulation. The context differs. The meaning differs, but owners consistently read it as positive, regardless of what's actually underneath. So the guilty look isn't guilt. The puppy eyes were engineered to reach you, and the smile we love isn't always what we think it is. But here's the question that matters more. If we've been misreading these signals, what are they actually expressing? What is the real message underneath the face we thought we understood? There's a woman named Margaret, 67 years old, retired school teacher from Vermont. She grew up with dogs, raised her children with them, and for the last 9 years had lived with a border collie mix named Ellis. She knew Ellis, or she thought she did. One afternoon, her granddaughter showed her a video about dog facial expressions. Margaret watched it politely, certain it wouldn't tell her anything she didn't already know. Then she saw the segment about the inner brow raise, the specific muscle, the fact that it doesn't exist in wolves, the fact that dogs use it most deliberately when a human is watching. Something quietly rearranged inside her. Every time Ellis had looked at her with those eyes in the morning, when she was sad, when she came home, Ellis had been doing something intentional, something designed over thousands of years of evolution, specifically to reach her. I always thought I was reading her, Margaret said. I didn't realize she'd been speaking to me, in a language she built to reach me specifically. But if that's what the eyes are really doing, what about everything else? What are the expressions we see every day actually saying? And this is where it gets interesting, because what science has found isn't just that we've been misreading our dog. It's that our dogs have been communicating far more than we realized in signals most of us have never been taught to see. Take the tail. Most owners know a wagging tail means a happy dog, but research by Quaranta and colleagues published in Current Biology found something more specific. Dogs wag to the right when they encounter someone they love and to the left when they're anxious or uncertain. The direction is involuntary. It's a window directly into their emotional state. Other dogs read it immediately. Most humans never notice it at all. Then there's the eye contact. The soft, direct gaze your dog gives you isn't just attention. It isn't asking for food or a walk. Research by Nagasawa and colleagues, published in Science in 2015, found that soft eye contact between a dog and their person triggers oxytocin release in both of them, the same neurochemical that bonds mothers to newborns, the same one that underlies human love. Your dog isn't just looking at you, they're bonding with you every single time. And then there are the signals we consistently miss, the ones that matter most for a different reason. The yawn, the lip lick, the slow blink, the turned head. Canine communication researcher Turid Rugaus documented these as calming signals, attempts by the dog to de-escalate tension, to soothe themselves, to quietly communicate that something feels like too much. We read them as tiredness, as hunger, as nothing at all. So your dog has an involuntary signal that reveals their true emotional state, and you probably haven't been reading it. They have a brow muscle that exists only to communicate with you, used most deliberately when you're watching. Their soft eye contact is a neurologically documented act of love, which brings us to the question this whole video has been circling. If your dog has been communicating all of this continuously, deliberately, with a face partly built for you, and you've been misreading pieces of it for years, what has the real conversation between you two actually been? There's a practical reason this matters, beyond the emotional one. The stress signals that get misread most often, the lip lick, the yawn, the turned head, the wide whites of the eye, are the ones that precede the rare moments when a dog reaches a breaking point. Not because dogs are dangerous, but because they've been communicating discomfort in a language their people couldn't read, and they ran out of other ways to say it. Learning to see what's actually there isn't just moving. It might be the most important thing you can do for the dog who trusts you most. Here's what's worth sitting with. You didn't misread your dog because you weren't paying attention. You misread them because you were reading them through a human lens, mapping human expressions onto a face that works by different rules. When you saw guilt, You were actually seeing anxiety about your reaction. When you saw a smile, you were sometimes seeing appeasement. When you saw a tired yawn, you were sometimes seeing a quiet request for the tension in the room to settle. Your dog wasn't failing to communicate. They were communicating constantly, fluently, with a face that evolution designed partly for you. You just needed the translation. And here's the thing about getting the translation once you have it, you don't lose what you had, you gain something. The relationship doesn't shrink, it opens. Because now you can hear what they've been saying all along. So, are you misreading your dog's face? Probably, in some specific ways. The guilty look is not guilt. It's your dog reading your mood and responding to your displeasure, which means when you see it, your dog is watching you more carefully than you ever realized. The puppy eyes are real, but they're not accidental. That inner brow raise is a muscle that exists in dogs and not in wolves. It evolved specifically over thousands of years of living with humans. It's used most deliberately when your dog is looking at you. When your dog gives you those eyes, they are doing something intentional, something designed, across millennia, to reach you. The soft eye contact is an act of love. Neurologically documented, hormonally real, the same mechanism that bonds mothers to newborns. And the tail, the yawn, the lip lick, the small turned head, all of it is language. Constant, honest, unperformed language from a creature who has no ability to say what they don't mean. What have they been saying? Watch me. I'm here. I need you to see me. I love you in the only language I have, and I built part of that language across thousands of years so that you specifically could understand it. You haven't been failing to read your dog. You've been in a conversation you didn't fully know you were having. Now you know. The next time your dog looks at you, really looks at you, with that inner brow slightly raised, those soft eyes finding yours, you'll know what you're seeing. Not a dog doing something cute. A creature using a muscle that their species developed specifically to reach yours. Across thousands of years of living beside humans, learning us, adapting to us, they built a way to say something to us that we would understand. And they're using it on you every day. Is there an expression your dog makes that you've always wondered about? Leave a comment below, describe it, and let's figure out together what they've been trying to tell you. I read every single one. And if this changed the way you see your dog's face, share it with someone who loves their dog and deserves to know what they've been missing.